Joining us on the program now from the Parenting Place, Kristin Ward. Kia ora, thanks for your time today.
Kia ora, Andrew. Good morning.
This is a bit of a struggle, really, and even if we take devices out of the conversation for the first part, because even when I was a teenager, it's always been difficult for parents to keep that connection, to keep that relationship, those conversations going between one generation and another when our children enter the teenage years, right?
Yeah, for sure. It's a new stage, isn't it? It really requires a little bit of pivoting as a parent to keep that connection strong. And one of the things that parents can kind of fall into the trap of, especially with technology, is they can sort of constantly be saying things like, "Oh, get off that screen.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? Why are you so addicted?" And so there's kind of this it's a very much a way of talking that actually pushes our teens away, and it puts them on the other team from us. It makes it feel like us against them.
Yeah.
And we're really kind of suggesting when we talk like that our teens are bad or deficient in some way for being so intrigued by the internet, by gaming, by what's happening on social media. Whereas actually it can be a lot more effective if we align ourselves with our kids, if we can put ourselves on the same team as them and talk openly about the fact that how we struggle as well. So how we phrase things with our teenagers really can matter. And one of the things that we can do is we can just notice out loud, narrate, gosh, I was trying to go to bed on time last night, but I was scrolling Instagram and 40 minutes went past.
Yeah, exactly.
Does that ever happen to you? Or, things like that. We can start conversations with our kids.
Yeah, because to be honest, it's not just, it's just the teens that are on the devices.
No,
and actually, this is something which affects all of us. And maybe this is part of the problem, actually. What we're modeling, the amount of time we're spending just checking work emails or responding to a post from even a family member on Facebook. What we're modeling, we need to make sure that we're not hypocritical in what we're encouraging in our teens.
For sure. And when someone is looking at their cell phone, it all looks the same, right? You might be very diligently doing the click and collect shopping from Pack and Save.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it looks like you're scrolling YouTube or to your child. So it's actually, we can actually be careful that we actually narrate what we're doing. We might say, "Oh my goodness, I'm just doing the shopping because we've run out of toilet paper. Is there anything else we need from the supermarket?" And they can see that we're doing something purposeful and it's not mindless. So that's one little thing parents can do. But yeah, we really want to open up conversation, crack conversation open as often as possible with our kids. Things like, did you know that there are millions of people that only ever see a positive news story about Trump because of the algorithm? Say something like that, and the teen might say, "Yeah, I knew that," or they do like to know everything. Or they might be like, "Oh, is there something negative about Trump? I thought he was all good. That's my algorithm."
Yeah.
And you've opened up a conversation, and you can say, "Gosh, it's amazing how it can influence how we think about things, or how millions of people think about an issue."
Yeah.
So
I love that idea, actually. Instead of it being a barrier to conversation, it's a conversation starter. You can take something that perhaps you have in common with your teenagers and try and engage in that world. A question, though, how deep do you go in this one? I mean, I'm not necessarily saying, hey, we sit cross-legged on the floor and play Fortnite for hours with our teenagers. But how deep do we go in terms of engaging in their world? Because even before social media, the last thing teenagers want is parents in their world. There's a little bit of a balance required there.
Yeah, it's absolutely naturally a time when young people are individuating from their parents, wanting more space. You often find that they're going into their rooms and shutting the door, and they never used to do that. And we can miss them. We can think, "Where's my child gone? They don't want to spend time with me anymore. I'm here in the sitting room," but they're not.
Yeah.
So that's really normal. And it's appropriate for children to be kind of individuating from their parents a bit. But we do just absolutely want to stay in the mix. So if we can find joining things that we can do with our teenagers, my husband will often say to my kids, if you found a good meme, send it to me. I like a good meme. Or if one of the children might be learning Spanish at school, and you can say, hey, I've got this great language learning app, let's do that together. You can get a bit ahead with your Spanish, or we can find ways to connect with our teens, or ask them to tell us, who are you following on social media? Who are the influencers that you like? Oh, what do you like about them? We can talk to our kids about algorithms. That's a really important thing. We can say, basically, we want the message to be, all of us are against the algorithms, not I'm against you and you're against me. We want to be like, we're on the same team. We need to get cleverer than the algorithms. We can curate our feed. We can learn how to see more of the uplifting, inspiring, funny, good stuff out there, and less of the stuff that's really affecting you, bringing you down, affecting your mental health.
I think part of the problem is that if we have this break in communication, that as parents it's very natural to fear the worst. Gosh, I wonder what my kid is doing on social media all day. And hey, some of the news stories and programs that have hit the headlines recently probably don't help in that regard. Having said that, though, there is some pretty dark stuff out there. Some of the stuff you're wanting to have a fun conversation with, is there a point, though, where you need to have an intervention, where you need to say, hey, no cell phones in the bedroom, or, no unsupervised access to the internet? I mean, that's a bit of a drastic step to take. But is there a point where we should, or perhaps consider, to take those drastic steps?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. The message we have at Parenting Place is delay your children's access to getting to starting social media or cell phones. So there is absolutely a wisdom that we hold the line and we get them to grow up a bit before we kind of open the doors to that whole world. One of the things that we really want to kind of wait for is actually a little bit of skepticism to arrive. Children at intermediate age and younger, and also even early high school, are still quite naive and quite believing about what they see online. They might think, oh, if I order that supplement, I will have shredded abs in 3 weeks. or they might think, oh, someone actually asked me for some photos because they think I'm a model. And so that believing what the person is, who they say they are online, is really
developing the ministry gift of cynicism in your children. I mean, this
we do. We want them to think, I might be being tricked here. I'm smarter than that person. I'm not going to get fooled. And so part of it is maturation, and it will arrive naturally as our children get older. And part of it, we can help it arrive earlier because this is the world they live in. So we can talk about scamming happening. We can talk about ask what if questions. We can say to them, what would you do if someone asked you for a nude? Or, we ask them to think about that scenario. We can ask them, I heard this thing on the news about catfishing. Do you even know what that is? And they might go, no, I don't know what catfishing is. And then we've opened up a wonderful conversation. We could watch some of these amazing programs with our children to deepen their understanding, like The Social Dilemma. Adolescence is a really one that is on everyone's minds at the moment.
And that's quite confronting. Yeah, that's quite confronting. Is that the sort of thing that you would encourage people to watch with their teenagers, or is that a little bit too on the dark side, do you think?
I mean, watch it first yourself as a parent and make the decision. Would my child cope with this? It is an incredible way to open up conversations to kind of represent to our kids why we have hesitations and why we are concerned, why we are cautious, why we have limits. And the other thing about limits, I'd say, Andrew, to your question, is we absolutely believe that it's a very good idea for parents to keep cell phones and devices out of bedrooms at night. Nothing good happens online overnight. One Common Sense Media program in 2023 found that one Common Sense Media survey, found that 60% of children and young people with smartphones are online between midnight and 5 a.m. That is
Wow.
appalling for their sleep and their mental health. So that's something we can just have
before
a rock
we even
solid
get into
limit
what
about.
it is that they're looking at. And I love the comment that you started with, actually, to not shut things down. That our children our teenagers are going to be looking for affirmation. They're going to find the dopamine either from affirmation from us or from clicks and likes on social media. We need to not shut down or be critical. We need to provide that love and affirmation in positive ways so they don't go looking for it in other ways, perhaps. Now, hey, if this is a serious issue for somebody, they're saying, hey, I wish I knew this 3 years ago. I'm really, really concerned about my teenager's behavior. I don't even know where to start on this. Is this something that Parenting Place can provide specialized support or counseling for?
So there's absolutely. So parent coaches are available for parents if they feel like, oh, the horse has bolted.
Yep.
Well, what do we do now? And also we're releasing a digital parenting course in June, July this year, and it's going to be released in a staged way, but that's a course that parents can buy now for a discounted rate, and it's $56 if they want to jump onto our website, parentingplace.nz, and look under courses. They can access a digital parenting course because it's the number one concern that most parents have got.
And hey, such a wonderful investment in your parenting journey, and hey, get ahead of the game on this one. If you order it now, it's a discount price, but also allows you to be hopefully slightly ahead of where your teenager is as they engage with technology and stop engaging with their parents. Kristin, thank you so much for the work you do at Parenting Place. Parentingplace.nz for more information on those courses or counselling sessions. Thanks so much for joining us once again. Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.